You guys asked for this guy to be on my channel, so we made it happen, and here we go. I've never started a video with another person before, so...
There's always a first for everything.
Let's do it. What's going on, guys? Adam Ivy, sellmusic.com, here to help you go further, faster in your music career by sharing proven marketing techniques and strategies to help you take that passion for making music, like this guy, and turn it into a legitimate business that's going to provide you with freedom and fulfillment. Now, as you see, I have a guest. You want to introduce yourself? You want me to intro you?
I'll introduce myself.
Okay, go for it, man.
Hey everybody, if you don't know me, my name's Austin Hull. I am from the company Make Pop Music. We have a YouTube channel, a Facebook group, a website with samples, presets, courses,
Everything.
all that good stuff. And on the side, I am actually a full-time producer, songwriter, and mixing engineer. And I'm actually from Orlando as well, so I'm super excited that Adam's reached out. It's really, really nice because he does so much business stuff on his channel and marketing stuff, yet I'm more of the kind of production creative side. So we're really, really excited to link up and kind of introduce some cross-collaboration content for you all.
That was better than any intro I've ever done on this channel. So He's trying to put me out of business. Anyway, guys, Austin, incredibly talented pop producer and everything in between. I'm not trying to sell him short with just calling him a pop producer, but he does have Make Pop Music on YouTube, which I want you to check out. I'll have that in the description box below. Now, Austin, when I found out that he was in Orlando, I've been a fan of his channel for a while, and what better way to collab than to do it for YouTube? And so we've gotten together before just so we make sure that we don't annoy the shit out of each other like some people, I can imagine, would. But not us. We did not fight.
We did not fight. We have a pretty even reach, though.
Yeah, I would say so. If you guys want to see us fist fight, let me know in the comments below. Anyway, we were talking about different things that we get asked about a lot and different things that we thought that we could bring value in like a conversational tone to you guys. So, I'm interested to do more of these, and I want you guys to let us know at the end of this video what you thought, but I'm not going to get into all that right now. What I want to do is I want to introduce the topic. And the topic is collaborating, right? So many of you guys on my channel or on my Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all that crap, say you should work with, you should work with, you should work with. And then just as many people are emailing me, DMing me saying, we should work. Yo, let's work. Collab, bro. You know, that's kind of something Austin and I always joke about, like, collab, bro?
Collab, bro.
You get that all the time, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, ever since I got into music, even when I was in a band, that's like the first thing that you get introduced to. Like, before you ever really get anywhere in music, you're already getting collaboration offers. So it's definitely kind of been there from the start. And, as the channel's grown, as the group has grown, and as my production skills have grown, Collabro has just kind of accidentally worked itself into my everyday life, unfortunately and fortunately, as you'll kind of see in this video.
Yeah, so collaboration is something that was kind of pushed down my throat as a producer, for everybody saying, yo, we should collab on a beat. Yo, we should collab on the song. Yo, we should collab. And that was kind of for years code word for, I don't want to pay you to work with you. Now, as you're getting, started in the industry, as you're getting started with your brand, as you're getting started and developing those skills, and you're not to the level that everybody else is at that time, it looks very appealing to work with someone that's a little bit better than you, a little bit further along than you. But a lot of times they don't want to work with you because it feels like you're latching on to them, right? It feels like you're kind of mooching.
Exactly.
But there's a time and a place for it, right? I personally, in my 13 years of producing now, have worked on beats with other people probably less than a dozen times. It's not that I don't love working with people, and I'm way more open-minded to it now, but as I developed my skill, I didn't want somebody else to take a beat that I was working on that I felt like I needed to work on the drums. I didn't want to send it off for someone else, like such as yourself, to do the drums for me, because I knew I needed to do that myself. I needed to get better. And I was telling Austin just a few minutes ago, and I've referred to this on my channel before, working on beats to me has always been very therapeutic. It's almost been like going to the gym. If I don't like how I look, if I have an ideal vision for what I want to look like, how I want to feel, my strength, I go there and it's like a solo sport, right? So to some people, that's how production is. And to some other people, as they evolve especially, they work with other people to not only get them outside of that comfort zone and get them outside of that box of the norm, right? Because we fall into like a style.
Absolutely.
So at this point in my career, I'm more than happy to throw a beat over to Austin, or even have him come over that now that we're in the same area, or even travel out to my boy Superstar O, go out to Adrian's place, Don Coda, all my buddies. Shout out to everybody who I'd love to work with music on. And those of you in my channel family that are incredibly talented, you might get that opportunity later this year or next year. Anyway, to work on something and actually come together on something that's not only my sound, but his sound melded together, which actually opened my mind to different techniques. Because at the end of the day, how many freaking software plugins do we have that we don't know how to use the same way as someone else, right? Exactly. A lot of us are self-taught.
Exactly.
You go into it's just like Photoshop.
It is.
There's 25 different ways to remove a background in Photoshop, and none of them are technically wrong.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things with collaboration is kind of letting go of that artistic vision that you have to let somebody else do it. Because I know that if I have somebody else playing the piano, even if it's going to come out the exact same way, I'm just dying inside if they're not playing it exactly how I would, which is really, really hard to get over. But as he said earlier, sometimes that does open up the door for vision. And I think that's one of the really, really important things about collaboration is going to be that when you're collaborating, there should be a reason for it. You shouldn't just send the drums out because you don't want to do them yourselves or because you don't want to learn how to do it. If you're sending the drums out, you better know that you're sending them out because that's the producer that you want to link with style. Like if I was to go and say, hey, Pharrell, I love your percussion, add that on my track. I'm not going to then go and micromanage him like somebody who says, hey, man, I didn't want to do my drum MIDI today. Will you just go ahead and do this? And then they're just going to just nitpick everything because they really just want me to be the engineer that kind of works on their vision. So if you're going to collaborate, let your collaborators have their artistic vision and let them run with that. That's kind of the beauty of all of this.
Yeah, and you make a great point. It's like if somebody comes to you, if you were Pharrell and I was coming to you and I'm like, hey, yeah, right. I wish you were Pharrell too right now. If this was Pharrell, my channel would get way more views. No offense.
Dude, I need the big...
Oh yeah, we need to get you one of those Curious George guy hats or whatever you call it. Anyway, I'm getting off subject or getting off topic like I usually do. What I'm getting at is now that I'm 10 plus years into my career, 10 plus years into making music, I actually enjoy working with younger producers sometimes when I have some time, especially my students, where I'm like, hey, send me the track out to that. I want to mix it a little bit. I'm going to tweak it. I'm going to change some things around, put some filters on, whatnot. And I'm going to send it back to them and let them hear their own production tweaked a little bit from somebody who's been in where they are, in their position. You know what I mean? What do you think of paid collabs for as far as being a producer? So this guy, like I mentioned earlier, is one of the most talented pop producers. Seriously, like I'm gonna have him come in and teach me some techniques because I've been dealing with different genres such as R&B and hip hop for so long that when I can do EDM, but when it comes to the stuff you do, unbelievable, guys. Like I said, that'll be in the description box below. But what do you feel about like guys coming to you and saying, how much for a collab?
Yeah. That's a really good question because at some point, it's hard to say because at some point a collaboration kind of turns into just being hired for something. And so I think that there are a few different ways to kind of go about this. Because at the end of the day, especially if you're trying to go full-time as a producer, you know, like I am, not every project is going to be your baby. Not every project is going to be your shining portfolio piece. Sometimes those people are hiring you. They need work done. They need a product at the end of it. And you do a good job. You provide them that product. You get your pay. And you were hired for that job. Other times you have artists that come along that are really, really, really going to wow you and, you know, want to compensate you for your time. So I've got a small handful of artists out of the hundreds that I've worked with that come to me time and time after again. They are, you know, signing deals and bringing me on with them when they tour. They fly me out to shows. There are things like that that you want to build those teams with. And that's part of collaboration that's really, really beautiful. And that's the difference between just being hired for something and then becoming part of somebody's team. And whether you're being paid or whether you're getting back end or whether you're doing it for, you know, exposure, even if that's a valid offer, because sometimes it is. I think that that's kind of the beauty of it is when there's a project that long-term you're really, really invested in, that's a collaboration, not just something where somebody sends you the stems to get a solid mix, you send it back the next day, they pay you, everything's good, everything's dandy, everybody's happy, but then they're kind of just on their way after that.
You brought up a really good point. At the end of the day, I know a lot of you guys are just getting started, whether you're a producer, a songwriter, a rapper, singer, engineer, even a manager for that point, or a YouTuber, right? The fact of the matter is that when you get to the point where you're doing it full time, when you're making a substantial amount of money doing it, there's going to be projects that are just work. No different than if you own a pizzeria. You might love making pizzas, but there's going to be days that you just don't feel like doing it. And you're doing it for the business side of things. You're doing it because this is what you have to do to provide for yourself and keep the needle moving forward. So just like Austin said, when you have someone that wants to collab with you, you really have to look at it just like he said as, is this going to benefit me in the sense of like maybe building a new friendship, a new relationship? Like if I collab with Austin, it's not going to be for personal gain. It's going to be like, hey bro, let's make something really cool.
Exactly. We're just hanging out, having a good time.
And that's the thing. When you have that energy behind your music, that's when the creative stuff starts. That's when there's been so many times of sitting in front of the screen, as I've mentioned in other videos, where 6 hours in, you're like, This is crap. And at the same time, some people are like, well, those are throwaway beats, stop and start over. Like, no, some of my most popular beats, especially when I was selling beats on SoundClick, were the ones that I almost threw away.
I mean, same for me. Some of the productions that I kind of went into with the artist, and I was like, I don't really know if this is going to be it, man. I don't know if this song has the sauce. Ended up being some of the biggest songs I've worked on. And honestly, I hear it in every creative profession from everybody that I know. Sometimes you don't know best. Sometimes the client knows best. Sometimes the artist knows best. Sometimes the manager knows best. And sometimes the market knows best. And you're not always going to be the one to determine that.
And sometimes your ears are just worn out.
Oh, yeah.
You'll get to the point. Yeah. You'll get to the point where you've heard it so many times. You've heard the same 4-bar, 8-bar loop. You've heard the same bridge 18,000 times to where you're like, this is garbage.
Yeah.
But it's just you've watched the same movie too many times.
Exactly.
You got burnt out from it. So guys, when you're working on music, whether it's by yourself or with someone, always make sure that you can take a step back and say, is this bad, before you're deleting things, before you're getting frustrated, wanting to punch through the computer screen because you're so frustrated that what you thought was dope is now mediocre, but it really could be super dope. And the best thing about it is if you come back, or maybe you work with somebody later on, you could send them some unfinished beats, and maybe they could sprinkle some magic on it. Now, one other thing I wanted to talk about is when you're collaborating. Don't think of collab as a one thing, like a producer to producer or artist to artist. I love collaborating with songwriters.
Absolutely.
The melodic progressions and the different riffs and melodies that they could put on my beats. I mean, even when I go to writing camps for country pop, I just sit around sometimes. I'm like, you guys are way better than me. But the thing is, that's going to pull you up and make you better by osmosis. So Austin, incredibly talented pop producer, but an also incredibly talented writer. So
thank you.
Yeah, you might not feel like producing one day, and you just feel like writing. So you'll go into some stuff that you finished and just say, I'm going to write to this, fuck it. Whether it be for him as an artist, which he has a great playlist over on Spotify. I'm not trying to hype you up too much. I'm going to have to start charging this guy, right? He paid me for this collab.
Yeah, dude.
No, I'm just playing. But that's the thing, guys. I really want you to keep your mind open when it comes to collab, but don't think for a second that it's necessary to have to collab with other people, or trying to reach out to Drake or Cash Money AP or Sonny Digital or Calvin Harris and say like, yo, collab. You're wasting your time. Focus on your craft.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing, and you would probably agree, hopefully, is when you get to a certain point, after all those years of frustration, you're going to get to the point where somebody that you maybe looked up to is going to reach out to you or like one of your posts or leave a comment. And you're like, I've been on this person's radar, and your work speaks for itself. You don't have to go out and beg. You don't have to go out and spam, outbound marketing, direct response marketing. You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Inbound marketing is all about doing the work, building a brand, having people come to you. So that's
100%.
that's really it, man. So any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there's just a couple things to keep in mind when you are collaborating, because like I said, this is going to happen every day. Once you get to a point where, you're having some success, you're releasing stuff steadily, you are going to get people in your inbox every day, every other day, offering to collab. So honestly, just know that you're not an asshole if you say no. You don't owe anybody your time. People should understand, and if they don't understand, they're not the people you should have been working with in the first place anyway. And then on the flip side of that, just to kind of contradict myself just a little bit, don't automatically write everybody off. Just a quick little story about a collaboration that I just took. Yeah. I did a video on our channel, how to make a loud style song in like under 30 minutes or whatever. Video did fine, 40,000 views or something like that. And I got a bunch of Instagram DMs about that, saying, hey, let me hop on this as an artist, yada yada, let me collab, let me buy this. Got a few offers to buy it, got a few offers to collab, and was just kind of writing them off. I was like, yeah, we'll come back to this. Yeah. Got a reach out from a guy named Liam Ferrari, who I had never heard of. Looked it up. Over 2 million followers on Instagram. Wow. Huge TikTok following. Big YouTube following. Last release got 22 million streams on Spotify. And that just came from a YouTube video. So if I would have just, gotten stuck in my ego and been like, fuck the collab, the collab, like just sliding them off one by one, I would have missed that. Because if I don't take the time to at least investigate what people are inquiring about just a little bit, I might miss some opportunities. So you don't have to take a collab, but at least be decent to give them all the time of day, because you might not only be shorting them, you might also be shorting yourself in the long run, because you don't know what you miss until you know what you missed. Wayne Gretzky said it best. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott. Yeah, I was just about to say that's a Michael Scott quote. Yeah, anyway, guys,
If you like this collab, let us know. What I want you to do is right now up on the screen, Austin said it best, closed it out. I don't have to do much besides tell you to go subscribe to his channel, and we're going to actually continue this conversation right after I stop this one. So click on the video on the screen to watch that video. And as always, guys, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the YouTube channel by clicking that little subscribe thing and the bell icon, whatever. All my contact information, as always, will be in the description box below.